You want to know what the best 6 neighborhoods to live in Atascadero are? Well, that'll be fun to go over with you. But the first thing that you should know about Atascadero is that it's a relatively small and unknown town. In fact, when I was growing up around here and we would travel to go camping or go around the state otherwise, people would often ask us where we were from. And we would answer back, Atascadero. And then they would say back, Atasca what? Nobody had heard of this town. But just because it's a small and unknown town doesn't mean there aren't some really great places to live here. And we're surrounded by a bunch of famous places like Paso Robles, Morro Bay, Cayucas and Cambria, San Luis Obispo. So there's tons of super fun things to get out and do. Stick around to the end to hear which is my favorite of these 6 neighborhoods. Okay, let's jump into our first neighborhood, Paradise Valley. If you're looking for a neighborhood with larger parcels of 1 to even over 10 acres, and you want to be surrounded by forests of oak trees, have tons of privacy, wildlife, just nature all around you, then this may very well be the neighborhood for you. Paradise Valley is just a few miles west of town, but it really feels like you're way out in the country. A lot of the properties have this kind of mini ranch feel, while the others have more of a park feel. You'll find houses from all sizes, from 2-bedroom bungalows to 6-bedroom estates. And you can expect to pay anywhere from, the low 600s for a fixer-upper all the way up to over 1.7 million for a large, beautiful estate with lots of acreage. You'll want to be aware that you're not going to find a whole lot in the way of new construction out here. The area really has been developed, and there's not a whole heck of a lot of inventory available because people move out here. Paradise Valley really feels like paradise. People live out here for decades, so it can be difficult to find the right place, but when one pops up, be ready. Okay, let's move on to neighborhood number 2, which is Oak Ridge Estates. And it's actually just above Paradise Valley, but it's very, very different in character. This is a newer development high in the West Hills of Atascadero. The first homes were built starting in 2005, and there are new models in the works as you're watching this. You'll also find vacant land ready to build. Every lot up here offers incredible views of Atascadero, Templeton, and beyond. And if you go to the very top of the ridge, you'll even get ocean views. There are 2 ways to get to Oak Ridge Estates. One is to drive right through Paradise Valley and then head up Senegal Road, which is a brand new road that was put in specifically for this development. Or you can head out Highway 41 West like you're on your way to Morro Bay, but then turn back east and wind your way up through the hills until eventually you reach the development. Either way you go, it's about a 15 or 20 minute drive to get out here. But it's not that it's that far outside of town, it's just that you have to drive on relatively steep and winding hills to get here. Hence the dramatic views from every home site. One of the things that people really love about living in the West Hills of Atascadero is that the summer temperatures stay about 10 degrees cooler up here than in the rest of town. But be aware, if you choose one of the homes at the tippy top of one of the ridges out here, the breezes are not going to feel like breezes anymore. It's going to be windy. There is no HOA out here, but there are CC&Rs, and one of the main rules there is that homes have to be at least 2,100 square feet. And there's also a road maintenance agreement that currently sits at $786 annually. The lots are generally around 3 to 5 acres. And if you're planning on buying land to build on, you should expect to pay between $200 and $300K. If you're buying a model built by the developer, you should plan on spending right around that $1 million mark, depending on the model. All right, moving on from Oak Ridge Estates to number 3 over on the east side of town, the Lakes. And there are actually 2 neighborhoods over here that we should discuss. Both are equally great, but even though they're right next door to each other, they're pretty remarkably different in nature. Let's talk about the Lakes first though. It's a gated community with an HOA and consists of newer builds. Construction was completed in the early 2000s. They have large open floor plans. Lot sizes are between ½ acre and 1 acre. There's walking paths, small man-made lakes, and well-kept community areas. If you're looking for a relatively large upgraded house in a country setting, but also want to be surrounded with well-maintained houses, clean driveways, curb appeal, and you don't mind an HOA fee of $250 per month, then the Lakes very well could be the neighborhood for you. Floor plans vary from 2,000 square feet to over 3,000 square feet. And you can expect to pay in the 800s for a fixer-upper and 1.3 million or above for one of the larger, more upgraded homes on a good-sized lot. and especially if it has one of those river views. This other neighborhood, I'm just going to call Ferro Carril, named after the street, Ferro Carril. It's just one long strip of land right adjacent to the lakes. But the interesting thing about it is it has this gate right in the middle of it that you can only walk or ride a bike through. So from either side it has this cul-de-sac feel. There's no HOA, there's no gate, and the parcels are a little bit larger over here. Anywhere between 1 and 3 acres, with a few on the north side of the gate that come in at more like 1/3 of an acre. The land is almost all very flat, with some gently sloped parcels. Prices vary considerably, depending on the size of the lot, size of the house, and how upgraded it is. On the lower end, you're looking at mid-600s, and you're topping out around 1.2 million. Both of these neighborhoods back up to the Salinas River and the Juan Bautista de Anza Trail. They both also have that really nice country feel, but they also have easy access to Highway 101, which is just about 2 miles away, and it's also a real quick trip to downtown. Okay, number 4. For number 4, let's head all the way down to the south side of town. The neighborhoods in South Atascadero are all on the east side of 101, since everything on the west side is all cattle ranch. I consider South Atascadero to be anything south of Santa Barbara Road and anything north of the next town, Santa Margarita. So South Atascadero is a relatively large area of land. And while it does have similar qualities to that of Ferro Carril or the west side, it has a distinct equestrian or small farm feel to it. There are rolling hills, big mature oak trees, and good-sized lots, but what you're not going to find here is that steep west side topography. This south side is much more rolling and flat, which makes it perfect for small farms, horses, and all kinds of animals. The types of homes vary quite a bit out here, from your standard ranch-style homes on up to high-end Mediterranean style. Lot sizes are anywhere from 1 to 10 acres, of course can be a bit larger or smaller. And then, so pricing is all over the map out here. You could pay $500,000 for a fixer-upper, and then you go out to the Margarita Farm subdivision, you could pay up over $2 million out there. No matter what though, you're not going to be disappointed with what you find out here. If you're looking for an equestrian property or small farms, if you have animals, it really is a fantastic lifestyle in an incredibly nice location. And number 5, our 5th neighborhood is known as 3F Meadows, and that's back on the west side of Atascadero. This is a very popular neighborhood, established back in the 1980s when there was no other neighborhood like it. It offers that best of both worlds, where it really maintains that rural country feel, but it's just a quick 10-minute drive to the grocery store. The acreage here varies, as does the topography. You can find nearly level acreage or a home built literally into a cliffside with incredible views. 3F Meadows is all elevated well above town, so you don't necessarily need to be in a cliffside to get a great view though. Of course you'll see those gorgeous oak trees, rock outcroppings, and plenty of deer. You will see some farm animals too, but not nearly as many as in South Atascadero. It has an established feel. Most homes are in the 2,000 to 4,000 square foot range, but you will still find the occasional 1,500 square foot ranch home. The roads are all pretty windy, since most of Atascadero's roads were actually built on old cow trails, believe it or not. But this gives our neighborhoods a totally unique feel that you won't find in any big city anywhere. You'll see prices range here all the way from in the 600s for a small ranch house, all the way on up to 1.6 for a large, beautiful estate. And finally, we've made it to our 6th and final neighborhood, Long Valley Ranches. This neighborhood has a very similar feel to 3F Meadows as far as location, views, and topography. But it was established over a decade after 3F Meadows and has CC&Rs limiting farm animals, inoperable vehicles, or even outbuildings that don't match the main house, giving it a more upscale feel. Most homes are going to be around $1 million, but it can be a bit less. But you will see it push up closer to that $2 million mark, more than you would see in other neighborhoods around Atascadero. Our clients that are looking for acreage and that country lifestyle, but want to be careful that they don't end up with neighbors that have a collection of rundown sheds, or maybe a little bit more choosy about their farm animal friends, since Long Valley doesn't allow pigs, will really gravitate towards this incredible part of Atascadero. Okay, so my favorite neighborhood. Well, in this case, I did indeed save the best for last. In my opinion, Long Valley Ranches. It has everything. It has some flat land, it has some steeper topography with views, and it's relatively close to the freeway. So if you do want to get up to Paso or San Luis or head down to Morro Bay, you're going to be able to get there rather quickly. It's hard to describe the feeling when I'm there. It's just beautiful. I spent a lot of time there when I was growing up. And there are so many areas in Atascadero that I just really, really love and appreciate. But if I had to pick one spot where I was going to put my house, it would be Long Valley. Now, if you're thinking that you would rather learn about Paso Robles neighborhoods rather than Atascadero, totally understand. Paso Robles is great also. So just check out the link in our description below, and you can learn all about Paso as well.